friends, it's Walker and welcome back to Olive Ave Nails. For those of you who follow Zoya pretty closely probably already know and maybe even already purchased and have already seen the wide brush. Zoya is calling this the wide brush, which is for efficiency, and they're comparing it to their original brush, which they're calling the Z Classic Precision Brush. So it's this little guy down here. It looks so small compared to this one. And I basically just want to kind of show you how this one compares to some other brushes in my collection and then do a real quick swatch using the same polish, show you what it looks like with the original brush and with the new efficiency brush. I did the promo where you were able to pick up 12 of these for $12, and I am gonna hold out on any thoughts right now until I've tried it, and then at the end I'll let you know kind of how I'm thinking. I'm just gonna show you the polish that I'm using. The polish that I'm using is Riley. It is this really pretty berry color, and you're supposed to take this little guy out of the box and then let the polish sit in there for 5 minutes. Before I swap these out, I do just want to show you the original brush from Riley compared to the efficiency brush. And the efficiency brush will probably look a little more narrow once it's like soaked in the polish, but you can tell that there is a pretty big difference in how the bristles are shaped. They're much thinner, and I really like how it's curved at the end. I think I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna show you some other brushes in my collection, and I really like the ones that have the little curve at the bottom. I honestly don't care so much about the width, but that curve I find really helpful. So to pop this guy in, you are supposed to screw on the cap, and then it gets to like a stopping point, but there's a space here, and you're supposed to just like, boop, press it on. Let's see if I did that right. Can I push it more? Nope, that's as far as it goes. Okay, it looks sealed. And so now I'm gonna leave this in here for 5 minutes and I will be back. All right, so I just have base coat on right now, so that's why my nails look a little bit shiny. So with Zoya's regular brush, I usually do, depending on the nail, between 5 and 6 kind of swipes down the nail. That's kind of how my habit has developed. My first thoughts here are that this brush was so easy to use. I'm really excited about it. I mean, I did this with my non-dominant hand and it was like 3 strokes to cover my nail. I don't know, I'm pretty happy. I do like the original Zoya brush, so I will give some more thoughts at the end, but first impression, pretty good. All right, coming back for the second coat. All right, that was 2 coats. I'm gonna compare this brush to a couple other brushes in my collection. I wanna first compare it to the Kale Polish brush. So here is Kale Polish Caramello. And I also wanna compare it to an Orly brush. So this is from the fall collection. This is Cashmere Crisis. And so here's the Kale Polish brush. And here's the Z Wide brush. You can see that the Z Wide brush is a little bit more tapered, like it starts thinner and gets wider at the bottom, whereas the Kale Polish brush is pretty thick all the way down. They both do have that kind of rounded bottom, and they look pretty similar in terms of width at the bottom. Maybe the Kale Polish brush is a little bit thicker, but they're pretty similar. All right, and now here is the Orly brush, and the Orly brush I think is definitely the biggest brush in my collection, and it is, number one, a bit longer than the Z Wide brush, and definitely wider. So I think here you can see how much wider that end is. The top is also a little bit wider, but definitely the end is significantly wider than the Z Wide brush. The Orly brush for me is, I would say honestly, a little bit too big. I like can barely paint my pinky with this one because it's so big. So I'm pretty impressed with the shape of the Z Wide brush. Okay, let's talk about some final thoughts here. So I do like the original Zoya brush. It doesn't bother me as much as it seems to bother some other fans out there. But I was pretty impressed with this one. I found it really easy to use. I thought the shape was really well put together. They clearly did their research. I think ultimately my feelings on this brush will come down to what Zoya decides to do with it long term. If they're always gonna be an additional $2 purchase on top of the polishes you're already purchasing, I honestly will probably not buy that many of them, just because the Zoya brush doesn't bother me that much. I don't mind it. and I'm not willing to shell out another $2 per polish just for the wide brush. That's just me. Some of you may have maybe bigger nail beds or just like stronger preferences, and you may really want to shell out those $2. My thoughts are, if this is always going to be $2 more, I may not buy many more than the 12 that I already bought. If there's going to be an option to add this to my polish, either for free or just kind of as the standard option, then I might decide to add them to my collection. But it feels kind of wasteful to throw all these away, so I probably would rather just do them for new polishes if that becomes an option. Zoya has made no indication that that will ever be an option. All signs right now point to them being an additional purchase. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I think my final thoughts are that this brush is super easy to use and was smart of Zoya to add to their line, but I'm not sure that I'll pick that many up. Awesome, thanks so much for watching, and I hope that if you like this video, you'll hit that subscribe button. We're heading into Vlogmas, and so I will be posting a new video every day.